Was under 12, so it cost me 20 cents.
And that included food, too, with that money.
Ours didn't. You had to pay extra, but you were allowed to bring in popcorn.
Well, there you go.
So, that was back when the rules were a little looser. It wasn't quite so bad.
But the funny thing about the Blob, not many people know this, but only the people in Phoenixville and Chester County would know this, but the movie theater was filmed with the Blob coming out in Phoenixville. Mm-hmm. But after when you see the kid running out of the theater and running across the street to the diner type of scenario, the diner was actually located in downtown PA, which is another 40 minutes away.
Awesome.
So I would go to that Blob diner, which was like closer to my house. So I would go there and it would say the home of the Blob. So you get to go there and eat where the home of the Blob was.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it was just so funny because when you watch the Blob, every time I watch it, I see the kid running across the street. I'm like, well, he just made a 30-minute trek in like 5 seconds. That's great.
I'm sorry, but if a blob was chasing me, I think I could do it too.
I'm sure anyone could.
So,
but I think movies could need some boosting, and I think that might be the way of the future is the drive-in theater. But
I think in today's world, it would be a novelty, where when I was growing up, it was a way of life. That's what we did. You didn't go to theaters, you went to the drive-in because it was a family-oriented outing. It didn't matter what you watched. Didn't matter whether you got, let's go up to the lobby.
Oh, geez, you're singing like my father does.
I can't help it. I loved the movies, and to this day, I think I probably own somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,500 movies, including my VHS tapes.
I have a few of those, but UTC Mall did a pop-up for the mall movie type thing, but they were sold out. So, yeah, but we'll talk more about that.
We'll be right back after these words.
Psst. Yeah, it's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active. But lately you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. You are listening to Kiss My Keister on Society Bites Radio. Our topic that we're discussing at this very moment is drive-ins. Now, I know that I enjoyed my trip to the drive-in as a kid, and that's probably why I'm movie crazy now as an adult. But if you have favorites, if you have the memories that we have as children, going back to the drive-ins, going to the movie theater, seeing something unusual for your first time, go to societybitesradio.com, and that's society, BYTES, radio.com, and go to the More tab on the website. Click on KMK Connect and send us your thoughts. Tell us what you think of drive-ins, and we may use one of your answers on our next episode.
I love it.
Hey.
So the next item I think that we could probably talk about here, which is an old type thing, because I love going to breakfast with my dad, and he tells me stories, and I listen to him and all this other stuff. But wages and income, they don't match what they used to be back in the day in certain things.
They didn't match then.
Well, yeah, that's true to a point, but my dad remembers a time when you used to be able to use one person's income for everything and also be able to take 1 week's pay to pay for a mortgage. Does that actually happen anymore?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, when we moved from Texas to Missouri in 1963, my father bought us a house in 1964. That home at the time was already 75 years old, but his house payment was $50 a month.
Wow.
And with 4 children and a mother-in-law, it was extremely important that we had a house big enough for the entire family. So when you find out in your 20s that the only reason you're alive today is, 1, because you didn't piss your parents off enough to kill you, and 2, you find out that your parents were really living on only about $175 a week between the 2 of them for all these people. Back then, the wages were not compensatory. My mother, after 33 years in the nursing field, retired at $23,000 a year as salary.
Wow.
Today, they make upwards of $50,000 or more. So, no, I don't think the salaries were really matchable. And today, I think the scale of salaries is equally absurd, because there are jobs out there that get paid an astronomical amount of money, and people who are really doing the work are getting little or nothing because they need a job and they'll work for minimum wage no matter what it is.
Exactly.
You have to feed your kids.
Yeah, and I totally agree with like the house payment, with the different bills and all this other stuff, because I remember my parents would actually my dad would actually get paid once a month at one job, and he would give my mom and said, "This is the bills, do it." And my mom would actually spread over the whole month, and these were the bills. And there were times I would live with hot dogs, baked beans, and all like the chintzy stuff you can think of, and that's what we lived on.
Now, see, to us, though, that was a treat. I can remember every Friday night watching Wild Wild West on TV, and the family crowded around this round coffee table in the living room on the floor, having hot dogs, potato chips, and Coca-Colas. And that was almost religious every Friday night as long as that show was on the air. We loved it. It was a great time for family to commune. And it didn't cost an arm and a leg to do it, and you felt like you were having a party.
Yeah. It's the little things that make life go around, that make you wonder. And I know I joked about it last couple episodes where my sister with the meatloaf and all this other stuff. That was something that we had to eat every so often. It wasn't because we had to, it was because it was part of the budget.
Now, we had 2 menus. Spaghetti was one, because you could make a pile of spaghetti and feed the entire neighborhood. And the other one was on Sundays. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, or potato salad, and baked beans or green beans, and iced tea. And don't forget the chocolate cake for dessert. And that was every Sunday, because we always had the preacher and his wife over.
Well, there you go.
My mother used to tease me horribly that I would make a wonderful preacher's wife because I could fry chicken and make potato salad.
But wait, you can make potato salad, but you can't make regular mashed potatoes?
Oh, I could make all that.
Oh, just making sure. She only named the one.
No, but I had a talent for it in the kitchen. So my mother decided that I would make a wonderful preacher's wife. And that worked out really good until I got high the first time. Then that kind of dashed her spirits.
Well, I guess that would have dashed anyone's spirits. But anyway, so yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting when you think about like incomes and wages, and I totally agree with you on 100% on so many things, but I feel that certain things could probably be pushed back. And in today's world, people are so uncertain about their next check and where it's going to come from. So it's interesting. And that kind of goes into the next little segment that I just read just today. But over 25 million Americans risk of losing health care as coronavirus pandemic rages. It's been a hard time for me. This is a big thing, because what's the one thing everyone wants right now? Health coverage, because you don't know if you have to go to the hospital or anything like that. And now they're going to lose this.
Well, and unfortunately, the majority of the people are like ourselves, where we have to pay for our own insurance, and we may get a discount for that because we are under a certain income level or whatever the situation. But the insurance still is bad. Now, this is a real Kiss My Keister moment for me, because I've had experiences with insurance companies that don't do what they say they're going to do. And you never have that one person who says, I'll step up to the plate. I'll own this problem. I'll fix this problem for you. We don't have that in our society anymore. People find a problem. It's like, hey, call the company. I had no control. And I'm sorry, but you sold me the program. Therefore, you obviously have some control, or you couldn't have sold it. So don't tell me you can't do. Unfortunately, that insurance company is no longer part of my repertoire. However, I'm like everybody else. I'm sitting on, I wiped out my savings, I wiped out my paychecks, and I'm still paying off, like $3,000 worth of bills because the insurance company didn't cover them because it's not a good enough company. And in order for me to have that good enough company, I would have to pay a lot more money than I'm paying right now. And I can't afford to do that. And I know that I'm not the only person out there that's dealing with this. If you are with an insurance company and they didn't do right by you, go to societybitesradio.com, go to the More tab, find that KMK Connect, send us your comments. We want to hear those because I know I'm not the only one who's had to go through this.
Oh, I know. Insurance, I joke in so many ways, but I believe insurance is scams. That's all it is. Whether it be home, auto, health, dental, doesn't matter. They all have their own little idiosyncrasies. I think I said that right. In so many ways, that's so funny. But to kind of piggyback on that, I had two different experiences, not with insurance, but one the health and one on a business. So the business side, we all know AOL very well. I had them up north when I was in PA, and of course I decided not to be with them anymore. So I canceled their service. So back in the day, when you would call them and try to cancel, they would try to sell you on a free month and all this other stuff.
Let's get you upgraded.
Well, not upgraded. No. You want to keep your service, just keep it for a month and let's just go from there.
Oh, yeah.
No lie, Katie, I was on the phone from 7 p.m. till about 11 p.m. at night, going from operator to operator because they kept telling me, oh, this person can't handle this person can. And they kept flipping me around. And at the end, I said, you know what? Take me off the list. I don't want any more and done. I called my bank because I had automatic direct deposit taken out, and I told the bank, shut them down. No more money. So what did they do? They actually had a debt collector come after me and say, well, you haven't paid them in 3 months. You owe X amount of money. And I laughed in the debt collector's face, and I said, really? And he said, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not paying it. And he goes, well, you have to. I'm like, no. I think you should actually do some review work on your client because I have all these statements. I have when I called my bank, what my bank knows, and all this other stuff, and I told them not to pay them anymore. So maybe you should call your clients and talk to them. He's like, oh. So then immediately hung up the phone. I never heard back from them again. Mm-hmm. So that was just interesting how, just like you said, people flip the script and say, well, I don't know, this person. You work for a company, you should know what to do. Even when I worked in blue-collar work and I didn't know the answer, my first response to that client is, I will find out for you. And if I can't, someone will. And I get them to the appropriate person.
Yeah, but the idea is you have to own the problem.
Yes.
Nobody owns the problem anymore. I used to work for a big company that would send me out to retain their customers, fix whatever was wrong, and then upsell them. I made more money than Solomon. It amazed me. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. People were so starved for follow-through, owning, and responsibility. They didn't know how to handle me. I had a 98% retention rate with the company because my customers didn't leave. Why didn't they leave? Because I did what I said I would do, and I never backed down from that. And to this day, I still carry that mantra with me. Don't stop. Show up. Be there. Be in the moment. Do what they ask you to do. This is not difficult. Mom used to tell us, whistle while you work. It'll go by faster. And you know what? It does.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, even if you are not able to get to them back that day or right away, you can get back to them as soon as possible, but at least acknowledge them and say, I'm sorry, this is why it took so long, something like that, which was very interesting. But long story